Hello everybody and welcome to this 3D modeling tutorial for Shaper 3D, in which I'm going to show you how we can rebuild this basic seat with privacy walls in conjunction with the reference photos. I will show you how to set up the sketch we need. We will look into working with splines to sculpt nice smooth transitions and then build our first prototype, detail it, and when that is done, then we make copies, bring everything over into the visualization mode, and then add some basic materials to it. And with all that said, let's do it. So here is the starter file. As we can see, we have the scan nicely positioned at the center, and left and right are two reference photos. From the left reference photo, we can clearly see that the left and right privacy walls are separated because there's a seam. And it looks like the cushion we're sitting on is nearly flush with the privacy wall. And from the front image, we can also nicely see how the legs are not flush left and right with the width of the seat cushion, but they are a little bit inside. Okay, very good. So let's actually go to a side view, and then I turn on the section cut. What we interestingly now can see is how the privacy wall for the back is slightly at an angle. And then also the seat cushion is arced. So to the backrest, it dips down just a little bit. So how can we start? We are in the side view. Let's go to sketch. We can start with a rectangle, and I simply click and drag this rectangle somewhere, and then I attach this onto the y-axis on the ground. Press escape, select this edge, drag this over roughly to here. 29 inches, that looks pretty good. What's the height? That is 8. When I select this edge and drag this up, looks like the legs have actually a height of 10 inches. Okay, very good. For this whole thing not to move, I can simply lock one point and also prevent this one to rotate by making one edge horizontal or vertical. Now I can click on a point and try to drag it, and nothing happens because I constrained it. Very good. We can assume that actually the backrest is an individual object. Then we have also the, the privacy wall is one individual object, and the backrest two, and then the cushion probably is pushed in front. How I approach modeling this is just only one way. There are many, many different ways. That's the beauty of 3D modeling. You can develop your own understanding and process. But you see how I'm trying to block kind of like everything out here right now, with very basic linear lines. So this just has a little bit of an angle. Oh, we can keep it like this. What do we have here? 2 inches. That's good. Okay, beautiful. How do we do now the seat part? Here, when we click on this tool, we have the ability to create a spline using control points or the fit point. I would like to work with the control point spline. So here I start, click, and then click, go to here, click, click, click one more time, and then I go back to the end. Click and press escape and escape. So you see with these points, I'm bending the spline. 2 points or each 1 point for the horizontal or vertical part, and then 2 points very closely together to kind of like craft the quick transition. Okay. Now we can zoom in a little bit and try to sculpt this. There. This kind of like looks okay. I'm selecting this spline and press delete because I would like to modify this. But essentially the amount of points I had looked pretty good. Here now I add actually 3 points, 1 point. At the end here, 1 point, and then I go back and press escape. And escape. You see now with 1 point here, I can terminate the spline to be more like a curve. That is good. Then with this, I can bend this because I do have here 3 points. I can create a much tighter corner, as you can see. And here, just 1 point. That is fine to create a nice arc. Okay, beautiful. Good. That's nice. That works well. Okay. Then we can go ahead and also select a spline. Click, click, and then go to this point and click. Press escape and escape. And here's a constraint. I select this one and delete it. And you see how I can move actually this point around. If I select the spline and select this line, I can add a tangent constraint. And this actually now makes this spline run tangent into this line. Sometimes things move a little bit. So here I correct this. This actually should be vertical, vertical, vertical. You will be horizontal. So I'm quickly adding some basic constraints. Here I can specify this to be 6, and this should be 3. This should be 38. Very good. So now, for example, this one can go up and down. So let's give this 7 inches. Now this point doesn't move anymore. So I can easily play with the spline points, and I'm not going to change the rest of my design. Then here, let's perfect this a little bit. There. So we actually have everything what we need for the sketch. So I will select this one and push this one out. Looks like 15. That's good. Then I will hide the sketch, extrude this one out, and snap it to this distance. There we are. Here comes the lag. We do not actually go to here. So this was 15. Let's go 14.5 now because it's a little bit inside. And then we set this to 2. Now I will select this one and click isolate. This way I can actually work on each element isolated. So I don't have to show and hide everything all the time. Let's give this a 0.5 inch of a radius, and then we shell this 0.25 quarter inch. And to get out of isolate mode, just click it again. There we are. Beautiful. Very nice. So you see, actually, this looks really good. That's quite nice. We can then actually go ahead, because I extruded this one all as one piece, and simply quickly turn on symmetry. That should be it. Okay. Yeah, very nice. Very good. Okay. This corner and the one down here, we nearly have pre-rounded already. So now we can go ahead and start rounding individual elements. So I go ahead and say, good, this one, just round a little bit. Let's say like this. The one edge down here, we don't really see. So we don't need to round this. This edge we can't really round while we see an edge because this surface already flows smoothly into that surface. And if we want to, we can round this too, but we have everything now so that we can round actually the edges. So this is 0.5. What did we do here? 0.1. Okay, very good. Maybe instead of 0.1, we, 1 inch, we say 0.75. Make this a tick smaller. Unisolate. Then we can select the next one. Very good. Here we saw that this is a little bit rounded, and then we can round those 0.25. There we are. And unisolate. Beautiful. Here we have a sharp edge because these two surfaces touch each other, so we can select this and round this. Quite big. Very nice transition. So here comes now the next step. How do we actually round the rest? So I will select this one and isolate it, and then I will select all these edges here. And this one and this one. And I think here we also only need to select one or two because this edge got filleted. So this is an arc, this is all tangent. And now a very tiny fillet, let's say 0.25. Specifically in early furniture development, we just work very fast and suggest where are rounded edges because later when we go ahead and then try to build everything out of the actual material and the fabric, which is very soft, things can change a lot. Now, if we zoom in, you can see here how they're all like somewhat rounded edges. There are even some folds. Now, this is not something you can easily do via CAD. For that, if you want to do this, then you use a program, for example, like Blender, and then you sculpt in the folds. But during the prototyping phase, when you work with the woodshop or fabricators, this is kind of like good to quickly block out how things should look. Okay, very nice. So this is good. Here we can double click, select the object, and then we mirror it over the origin. And so how do we do the other profile now? So there are various different ways. I will simply select one face here. It doesn't matter which one you select. You can go with this one. And then we create a sketch on that face. Okay, very good. And now we need to know when I, let's say, draw here two lines, where would actually be the left and the right edge be? Now I could draw this by hand, but I want to be very precise. So I'm projecting edges into my design. I go to project and I have, for example, here one line and I have there one line. Sorry, there's that image in my view. And when I hit done now and I hide the bodies, there you can see what I have. Well, there's the vertical backline and there are the top line, and I will go back to here, and then if I go back into editing the sketch and go to project, I can also project this line in. into the sketch. Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit cranky. There. Okay, so if I hide this, there we are. So I actually projected everything in from the geometry, which I built. Again, because there are always different ways how you can do this. I'm going to delete these 3 lines. And I have this original sketch, which you can see is at a different position at the center. But this is now the total height minus the rounded edges. So maybe that's actually better. So from the sketch, I bring this one in. And here, bring this line in. Okay, there. See, this is actually smarter. Because now I can go ahead and say this point glue to there, this point glue to there. These 2 lines, please be horizontal and vertical. Exit. Then I can select this one and extrude this out, let's say 2 inches. And then I click and drag to the right side. Tap, 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 only the edges, and 0.25 for the edge rounding. Then we can show all the bodies. There we are. This body we also mirror over. There we are. Cool. Okay, let's hide actually the sketch. We can clean up our scene. Right click to rename this. So I dragged one sketch on the other sketch to put them in a folder, and then with Shift and on a Mac it's Command, on a PC it's Control. Individually select body parts, and then here rename. I can call this parts. Perfect. Pretty nice. And if we now compare what we have here with the photo, then we can see there's a tiny, tiny distance. So this is actually pretty good. Again, because everything is parametric, we can go ahead and say, how would this look with a bigger rounding or an even bigger rounding? And we have there this fillet. So what about here? We change this also 0.75. So we match everything. Well, the bigger roundings actually look a little bit closer to the way how this one was done. Very good. We have here 3 pieces. That's actually really nice, and also for color, material, and finish studies. Now you don't work on one piece, you design or you model one piece, then you make 3 copies, and then you can colorize everything. So, because here we have a part, we can all go to pattern. I selected the folder with all the parts, otherwise select all the bodies. Then click and click. We want to select linear, 3 pieces, very good. And then we just drag them out. 38 spacing or so, that's fine. That's pretty good. Beautiful. Now hold on, actually I should say this. You see that then the pattern actually creates a folder with all these parts. We could actually sort everything. So all this goes into one folder. There we are. And all this goes into one folder. Very good. And then these folders we can drag out. This is an old folder, right click, delete, and then we can just name those. Let's say this is body 3 or part 3, chair 3, body 1. I should have said seat actually. Seat 2, Let's rename this seed 1. And then this is seed 3. In German, the saying is, Ordnung ist das halbe Leben. Order is half of your life. Yeah, my mother had a point. That's very true. The more you organize everything, the easier later will be navigating scenes, particularly when you have a lot of objects. Okay, very good. Let's go to visualization. So we know these are gray. So we can now, how do we select everything the easiest way? This material is being used for all. We could, for example, say, click default material and change, then go to fabric, and let's see, what do we have here? No, yeah, that plain woven cotton. Very good. Let's maybe zoom in a little bit. There we are. There we can see this. Let's change the color so it's easier to see. Yeah, okay. Very good. Now, obviously, as we can see, everything got the cotton material, but we have multiple backgrounds. I don't want to select them all. Now I can go ahead and what is it now? Click to the left side and only body. So I press tab. Now, so I select only these bodies, and then I say, nope, that's not cotton. That's going to be metal. Very good. And those pieces here, we can double click to select the bodies. And then that is actually, didn't I see a nylon mesh there? Okay, there we have it. Okay, and with this nylon mesh, this is gray. Now we can go ahead and give this a particular color, let's say in orange, and theme it. And I think the first one here that had a different color. So these two bodies I select and then simply change the color. And then this way you see a new material is created. The nylon is a little bit too reflective. So I will go back and say, let's go to leather and select this leather. Now the nice thing is the material color remains. So when I click nylon webbing, this one, the brown one, and simply change this also here to this flat grain leather, it just changes the material but maintains the color. Because this way you can very easily theme multiple objects. Just need to know where are the parts you are selecting. Very good. Now we can go to explore different lighting. Black environment does not look very good. Now we can go to this one. Beautiful. Okay. So you saw very simple exercise, how quickly it is to build one piece, and then we create multiples, sort everything, and then assign materials in a way so that we can very quickly then adjust also different color combinations, for example. Very good. And this is the end of this tutorial.